ब्रह्मनाथ ओ शांति 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 स्वस्थ।
Hello students, in the previous class we discussed the mechanism of breathing. In the mechanism of breathing, it consists of two important steps. One is your breathing movement, other one is your gaseous exchange in the lungs. We discussed in details about the breathing movement, which consists of two important steps. One is your inspiration, another one is your expiration. The taking in of the atmospheric oxygen, that is known as your inspiration, whereas the elimination of the CO2 or the carbon dioxide, it is known as your expiration. In the inspiration, the muscles that is present which act or plays the important role, that is what we can say the external intercostal muscle. Whereas in the case of the expiration, the internal intercostal muscles plays the major role. During the inspiration, we have discussed that the external intercostal muscle gets contract, by which the ribs movements takes place to upward and outward direction, whereas the sternum comes down and also the diaphragm becomes flat, by which the volume of the thoracic cavity increases, the volume of the pleural cavity also increases, by which the air pressure becomes down or falls, by which the air enters into the respiratory tract. Whereas in the case of the expiration, we discussed that the internal intercostal muscle gets contract, by which the ribs comes to its normal position, okay, or we can say inward or the downward direction it comes. Sternum comes to or occupies its normal position. Diaphragm becomes dome shaped, by which the volume of the thoracic cavity decreases, and also the pleural cavity or the lungs volume also decreases. Whereas the volume decreases obviously as the air pressure is inversely proportional to the volume, that is why the air pressure inside the lungs increases, by which the carbon dioxide is being eliminated from the body to the outside or the outside environment. So this much we have discussed in our previous class. Today students, we will discuss the regulation of the breathing, how the regulation takes place, okay, means how the breathing is being controlled, how the breathing is being regulated, okay. So in that we will discuss three important regulation. First we will discuss the neural control, then the chemical control, and lastly the other factors. Under the neural control we will discuss the important, we can say the respiratory center first we will discuss, then the pneumotaxic center, further we will discuss the vagus nerve, and lastly we will discuss the Herring-Brewer reflex action. So students, first we will discuss the respiratory center. Obviously the neural control means the brain plays the major role in the case of the controlling or regulating the breathing. The various structure or the parts of the brain we will discuss in detail in our nervous system, but as of now you just remember it consists of four major parts: cerebrum, cerebellum, medulla oblongata, and the pons feruli. So the part which are concerned or related to the regulation of the breathing are these two important parts. First one, this is called your pons feruli region, next one is your medulla oblongata. I have zoomed out this portion. It consists of, this one is your, we can say the pons feruli region, and this one we can say the medulla oblongata region. The pons feruli region consists of the pneumotaxic center and also the apneustic center. These two centers overall we can say control or regulate the breathing. In the medulla oblongata, it consists of the inspiratory center and the expiratory center. Okay, the inspiratory center, we can say it is presence of dorsal respiratory group, whereas in the case of the expiratory center it consists of the ventral respiratory group. Okay, so first point in the respiratory center, that in the human brain the respiratory center is present inside the medulla oblongata. So your first point, inside the human brain the respiratory center is present inside the medulla oblongata. Okay, this respiratory center consists of two important centers. One is your inspiratory center and another one is your expiratory center. Inspiratory center helps for the inspiration, whereas the expiratory center helps for the expiration. So we will write our next point. The inspiratory center helps for the inspiration, whereas the expiratory center helps for the, obviously, the expiration. Okay, next point, students, you can see here, as I have drawn here, the pons femoris region and the medulla oblongata region. I have done in a box manner so that you can clearly understand. This one is your, we can say, the pons femoris region. This one is your, we can say, the medulla oblongata region. Consists of two center. One is your expiratory center, other one is your inspiratory center. I have not written this, please write down. This one is your, we can say, the inspiratory center. Always remember, in the respiratory center, at a time only one center could be get activated. During the inspiration, the inspiratory center gets activated and the expiratory center gets deactivated, and also the vice versa. During the expiration, the expiratory center gets activated, whether the inspiratory center gets deactivated. Okay, let's write down this point. When inspiration takes place, the inspiratory center gets activated and the expiratory center gets deactivated, and vice versa. So what? In our next case, first what we have discussed. See, in the medulla oblongata region, it is simple. Don't worry, it is simple. In medulla oblongata, the respiratory center is present. It consists of two centers. One is your expiratory center, other one is your inspiratory center. During the inspiration, the inspiratory center will get activated. Obviously, the expiratory center will be deactivated. During expiration, the expiratory center will be activated and the inspiratory center will be deactivated. So that is the point I am written. When inspiration takes place, the inspiratory center gets activated and the expiratory center gets deactivated. Vice versa means opposite. During the expiration, when the expiration takes place, the inspiratory center gets deactivated. Okay, whereas the expiratory center gets activated. Okay, simple. Once more I am telling, during the inspiration, the inspiratory center gets activated, expiratory center gets deactivated. During the expiration, the expiratory centers get activated, whereas the inspiratory center gets deactivated. So we can say at one time only one center gets activated, whereas the other gets deactivated, and vice versa during the opposite condition. Okay students, so now we have discussed first the respiratory center. Okay, means inside the human brain the respiratory center is present inside the medulla oblongata. During the inspiratory center, in the inspiratory center the inspiration takes place, and in the expiratory center the expiration takes place. And lastly, as we discussed, when the inspiration takes place, the inspiratory center gets activated and the expiratory center gets deactivated, and vice versa. Okay, please note down. Next students, we will discuss another neural control, that is your pneumotaxic center. The pneumotaxic center is generally present in the pons varolii region. As we discussed the respiratory center, it is present in the medulla oblongata region, but in the pons varolii region, the pneumotaxic center is present. So our first point, pneumotaxic center is present in the pons varolii region. Okay. Next point, during the inspiration, what happens? During the inspiration, the pneumotaxic center receives the impulse from we can say the inspiratory centers. What happens? See, whenever the inspiration takes place, what happens? The pneumotaxic center receives the impulse from the inspiratory center. After that, what happens? The pneumotaxic center sends the impulse, or we can say the stimulus, into the expiratory center. After that, what happens? By which the expiratory centers gets activated. Further, when the expiratory center gets activated, it sends an inhibitory impulse to the inspiratory center, by which the inspiration is being stopped and the expiration gets started. Okay, so we will write it accordingly to the point. So first point we will written, the pneumotaxic center is present in the pons varolii region. During the inspiration, let's write, during inspiration, the pneumotaxic center receives impulse from the inspiratory center. Next what happens? The pons varolii region, the pneumotaxic center sends the stimulus or sends the impulse to the expiratory center. What happens next? The pneumotaxic center further sends the impulse to the expiratory center. What happens then? As the impulse is transmitted from the pneumotaxic center into the expiratory center, the expiratory center gets activated. What happens next? The expiratory center gets activated. After the expiratory center gets activated, it sends an inhibitory impulse. Means what? Inhibitory means it sends a message to stop the inspiration process. So we can write, expiratory center gets activated and sends the inhibitory impulse to the inspiratory center, causing the expiration. See, once more I am telling you. First what happens? What I have told you, in the pons varoli region, the pneumotaxic center is present. What happens during the inspiration? The inspiratory center, or we can say from the inspiratory center, the pneumotaxic center receives the impulse. Okay. Further, the pneumotaxic center sends the stimulus or the impulse to the, we can say, the expiratory center that is present in the medulla oblongata region. Okay. Next, what happens? As soon as the expiratory center receives the impulse from the pneumotaxic center, it's get activated. Whenever it get activated, it sends an inhibitory impulse to the inspiratory center, by which the inspiration gets stopped, and further it causes the expiration. Okay, students. So this much we have discussed in the pneumotaxic center. Please note down. Next, students, we will discuss two more neural control, that is your vagus nerve and the Hering-Breuer reflex action. In the vagus nerve, this is the nerve which is associated with the regulation of the, we can say, the breathing. The vagus nerve innervates the lungs. Innervates means it supplies the nerves to the, we can say, the lungs. During the inspiration, what happens? The vagus nerve, it sends the stimulus to the expiratory center. After the inspiration, what happens? During the inspiration, the stretch receptors which are present in the bronchial region, they gets stimulated, by which the lungs gets inflated. After the lungs gets inflated, it sends by the vagus nerve, it sends the stimulus to the expiratory center, by which the expiratory center sends an inhibitory impulse to the inspiratory center, and the inspiration is being stopped. Okay, so we'll write this point. First point, it innervates lungs. It innervates lungs. Okay, and always remember, during the inspiration, as I told you, the vagus nerve. Okay, during the inspiration, what happens? The vagus nerve supply the stimulus to the expiratory center. When it supply? During the inspiratory center, during the inspiration, what happens? The stretch receptors that are present in the bronchial region, they get stimulated, and by which the lungs get expands. At that time, what happens? The vagus nerve sends the stimulus to the expiratory center. So we can write here, during inspiration, what happens? The stretch receptors are stimulated, causing the lungs expansion, by which vagus nerve supply, or we can say sends the stimulus to the expiratory center. Okay, further what happens? Further, the expiratory center sends the inhibitory impulse to the inspiratory center, and the inspiration is stopped. Further, the expiratory center sends the inhibitory impulse, and the inspiration is obviously stopped, and the inspiration is stopped. Okay. Next is fourth one is your, we can say, the Hering-Breuer reflex action. Hering-Breuer reflex action. Its main function is to prevent the lungs from excessive inflammation, okay, or we can say excessive expanding or the expansion of the lungs. What happens during the, we can say it is somehow we can say related to the stretch receptors that are present in the lungs, or we can say in the bronchial region of the lungs. What happens during inspiration? What happens? The stretch receptors gets stimulated, by which the lungs expansion takes place. If the further expansion takes place, okay, to prevent from that further expansion, what happens? This reflex action takes place, or we can say the Hering-Breuer reflex action, in which what happens, that stretch receptors that are present in the bronchial region, they prevent, or we can say check the stop the further inspiration, by which we can say it acts as a, we can say, a protective mechanism for the further lungs expansion. So we can say it is somehow related to the, it is related to the, it is related, it is related to the stretch receptor present in the bronchial regions. Stretch receptors present in the bronchial regions. Okay, what happens when during the inspiration, or we can say during the inspiration, the stretch receptor gets stimulated. After the stretch receptor gets stimulated, the lungs expansion takes place. But due to the presence of the stretch receptor in the bronchial region, what it does, if the, we can say, the lungs is being inflated, or we can say lungs are gets expanded to its, we can say, to the highest means position, to its position where the lungs is, if further it will increase or expansion takes place, then damage will happen inside the lungs. So we can say it acts as a protective mechanism which checks the further expansion of the lungs, or we can say the further inspiration. Okay, during excessive inspiration, it checks or it stops, it checks the inspiration. Okay, means if normal inspiration takes place, the lung will expand. If further inspiration will takes place, then what will do, this reflex action will come into act, by which the further inspiration will gets checked, and by which the damage which could happen due to the more expansion of the lungs will be stopped. Okay, so these are your 4 neural control. First we discuss the respiratory center, then the pneumotaxic center, further we discuss the vagus nerve which innervates the lungs, and during the inspiration what we discuss, the stretch receptors are stimulated, by which it causing the lungs expansion, and then the vagus nerve sends the stimulus to the expiratory center. Then the expiratory center gets an inhibitory, or sends the inhibitory impulse to the inspiratory center, and the inspiration is being stopped. And what is the Hering-Breuer reflex? This is the reflex action, or we can say that is related to the stretch receptors that are present on the bronchial regions in the lungs. Its main act is the function is to it act as the protective mechanism for the further lungs expansion, and also it prevents from the damage of the lungs. Okay, so this much we will discuss the neural control. Please note down. Next point, students, we will discuss the chemical control of the breathing, in which further we will discuss the effect of the carbon dioxide or the CO2. Just remember one point, you can write accordingly to that, you can write accordingly 4 important points. How? CO2 concentration in the blood is directly proportional to rate of respiration. Okay, If you remember only this important point, we can write accordingly. So always I have said no need to by heart the points. Just try to focus to remember the bullet points or the important points so that you can write accordingly. Okay, you only tell CO2 is directly proportional to the rate of respiration. So now how we can write? See, first point. When the concentration of the carbon dioxide in the blood increases as it is directly proportional, then the depth and the rate of respiration also increases. So your first point, when the concentration of CO2 in blood, this one I will do in the box manner. When the concentration of CO2 in blood increases, then what happens? The rate of respiration also increases. Then the rate and depth of respiration is increased. Similarly, what will be the second point you tell? Yes, when the concentration of the CO2 in the blood decreases, then the rate and the depth of respiration also decreases. When the concentration of CO2 in blood decreases, then what happens? Then the rate and depth of respiration is decreased as it is directly proportional. Next point, students, as we know that the medulla oblongata is related to the regulation of the breathing, if the medulla oblongata region is being cut off, then what will happen? Yes, the concentration of the CO2 will be increased by 6.5%. So we can say, if the medulla oblongata is cut off, then what happen? Then the CO2 is increased by 6.5%. What happens if the CO2 concentration is lowered? If the concentration, or we can say CO2 is being lowered, the disease is known as your acapnea. Okay. This is the disorder in which the CO2 is lowered, or we can say the concentration of the CO2 falls down. Okay, so what we have discussed, the CO2 is being directly proportional to the rate of respiration. If the concentration of CO2 is being increased in the blood, then what happens? The rate of respiration and the depth of respiration increases. If the CO2 concentration decreases inside the blood, then the depth and the rate of respiration is also decreased. As the medulla oblongata is related to the breathing, as it regulates the breathing, if it is being cut off, then what will happen? The CO2 will increase by 6.5%. And what is the disorder in which the CO2 concentration is lowered? And that disease or disorder is known as your acapnea. Okay, please note down. Next, students, will discuss the effect of the oxygen. Okay, first we discuss the effect of the CO2. Further we'll discuss, as this is one is the second one, the effect of oxygen. So first point, the carotid body present in the common carotid artery, which have the chemoreceptors, okay, which is sensitive to the oxygen concentration in the blood. So first we'll write this. First point, the carotid body present in the common carotid artery, okay, common carotid artery, which have chemoreceptors, and are sensitive, or we can say common carotid artery having, it will be more prominent, common carotid artery having the chemoreceptors which are sensitive to the oxygen concentration in the blood. So what I will tell you, here two terms we are taking, one is your carotid body, another one is your common carotid artery. Students, common carotid artery means this is the artery which supplies the blood from the heart to the, we can say, the neck region, face region, okay, and the brain. Okay, so that portion is known as the common carotid artery. That common carotid artery consists of a specialized, we can say, mass of the chemoreceptors. Those are, we can say, that is known as your carotid body. Okay, these are, we can say, presence of the mass of the chemoreceptors. Okay, so what happens? These chemoreceptors are, we can say, sensitive to the oxygen concentration inside the blood. Whenever the oxygen level inside the, or the oxygen concentration inside the blood falls down, or we can say it falls below, then these chemoreceptors will send the signal to the respiratory center for the increase of the rate of respiration. So write the next point. When the oxygen concentration in the blood falls below, what happens? The chemoreceptors sends the signal to the respiratory center causing the increase in the rate of respiration. So students, now you tell, what is the main point we have achieved from this? During the CO2, what we have find? We found that the CO2 is directly proportional to the rate of respiration. Means CO2 concentration increases, then rate of respiration increases. CO2 concentration decreases, the rate of respiration decreases. Here what we found? When the oxygen concentration falls below, or we can say decreased, what happens the rate of reaction, rate of the respiration? It increases, or increase in the rate of respiration takes place. So you can write that the oxygen concentration is, we can say, inversely proportional to the rate of respiration. We can write now. Okay, so simply also we can say that whenever the oxygen level falls below, or we can say is decreased in the blood, if the oxygen concentration in the blood decreases, then the rate of respiration increases. Okay, whenever the oxygen concentration in the blood decreases, the rate of respiration increases. Okay, when the oxygen level decreases, rate of respiration increases. Whenever the oxygen concentration increases, the rate of respiration decreases. Okay, clear? No confusion. Okay, that is why I have written the whenever. So what we found from this point, the carotid body, which are the we can say mass of the specialized, we can say chemoreceptors, these are present in the common carotid artery, which are sensitive, and these are having the chemoreceptor which are sensitive to the O2 concentration in the blood. Whenever the O2 concentration in the blood falls below, means decreased, the chemoreceptors will send the signal to the respiratory center, which causes the increase in the rate of the respiration. That is why I have written the O2 concentration in the blood is inversely proportional to the rate of respiration. Means whenever the O2 concentration increases, the rate of respiration decreases. Whenever the O2 concentration decreases, the rate of respiration increases. Okay, next, third one is your, we can say, the effect of pH. Students, here also one point you remember, that the pH is always inversely proportional to the concentration of the CO2. So what we can write the point accordingly? Yes, if the pH of the blood increases, then what will happen? The concentration of CO2 will decrease. If the CO2 concentration will decrease, then the rate of respiration will be also decrease. Vice versa, if the pH of the blood increases, if the pH of the blood decreases, then the CO2 concentration will increase, and as the CO2 concentration will increase, the rate of respiration will also increase. Similarly, we will write this point. Okay, so just remember, focus on this one point, you can write it accordingly. Okay, just remember this one point, you can write it accordingly. Okay, so when the pH of blood increases, pH of the blood increases, what happened? Then the concentration of CO2 decreases, causing the decrease in the rate of respiration. Okay, similarly, your next point. Okay, when the pH of the blood decreases, the concentration of the CO2 increases, causing the increase in the rate of respiration. When the pH of blood decreases, then the concentration of CO2, then the concentration of CO2 increases, CO2 increases, okay, causing the increase in the rate of respiration. Is it as simple as it is? Okay. So what we have discussed, students, simply in the oxygen case, it is inversely proportional to the rate of respiration. Whenever the oxygen level gets decreased, the chemoreceptor sends the signal to the respiratory center, and the rate of respiration gets increased. Similarly, effect of pH. pH is inversely proportional to the CO2. Whenever the pH increases, CO2 decreases, and also the respiration decreases. Whenever the pH decreases, the concentration of CO2 will increase. Eventually, it will help to increase the rate of respiration. Why? As we know, the CO2 is directly proportional to the rate and depth of the respiration. Okay, students, please note down. Lastly, students, will discuss some other factors that affect the rate of the breathing. In the case of the temperature also, what happens? Whenever the temperature of the body increases during fever or during exercise or the heavy exercise, what happens? The rate of breathing also increases. Okay, so we can write accordingly. When the temperature increases in fever, then exercise, what happens? The etc. The rate of breathing increases. Okay, rate of the breathing increases. See, you only tell. Whenever we have we can say we do heavy exercise, we repeatedly take the breathing. Okay, so that is the example. Whenever we do the heavy exercise, our rate of breathing increases. At the time of the emotion and pain also, when we generally we can say feel low, or we are in the emotional state, or we feel some sort of pain, at that condition also the rate of breathing increases. We can say during the emotion pain also it increases the rate of breathing, increases the rate of breathing. Okay, similarly, the effect of the high altitude, students, when we go to the high altitude, what happens? The O2 level falls below, or we can say the partial pressure of oxygen falls below or comes down. That is why, as the oxygen availability is not there, or we can say it is being lowered down, as we know, the oxygen is being inversely proportional to the rate of respiration. That is why it causes the increase in the rate of the breathing. So we can write it increases the rate of breathing due to the low level of O2. Okay, and the decreased O2 level in the blood causes the disease called the hypoxia or the altitude sickness. We can say the hypoxia. What is the hypoxia? It is we can say the decreased amount or the level of the O2 in the blood. The decreased level of O2 in the blood. This disease is called as, or this disorder is called as hypoxia or the altitude sickness. Okay. So student, by this we came to the end of the various regulation and the complete long question, that is your mechanism of breathing. Okay. Just one point you add after the inspiration expiration, the breathing rate. Okay. In frog it is 80 times per minute, in rabbits it is 35 to 36, in man or in adult case it is 12 to 18 times per minute, whereas in case of the newborn baby it is 40 times per minute. We can write here, in frog it is 80 times per minute. Okay, in rabbits it is 35 to 36 times per minute. In human, or we can say in man, it is 12 to 18 times per minute, and in the case of the newborn baby, and in the newborn baby it is 40 times per minute. Okay. So by this we came to the end of the complete your first long question, that is your mechanism of breathing. If mechanism of breathing is coming as your long question, so you have to write from starting from the beginning, okay, the inspiration process, the expiration process, then the whole regulation. Today we discussed in the regulation portion the various neural control such as your respiratory center, pneumotaxic center, vagus nerve, and also the Herring-Brewer reflex. Okay. Next we discuss various chemical controls, okay, effect of CO2, effect of O2, okay. Next also we discuss the pH, how the pH also affect. Next also we discussed the other factors that depends the affect the breathing, such as your temperature, emotion and pain, effect of the high altitude. And always remember, after the writing the inspiration and expiration process, just add one point, that is your breathing rate. That is, in frog it is 80 times per minute, in the rabbits it is 35 to 36 times per minute, in the man, means in adult case it is 12 to 18 times per minute, and in the newborn baby it is 40 times per minute. Means what? One time means the complete process, inspiration and expiration. This is one time. So like this, if I am writing this much of time, means it completes the cycle, inspiration and expiration. So in human case, if one time we do the inspiration and expiration, so in whole minute we are doing around 12 to 18. Okay, the increase and decrease depends on the environment, or we can say the surrounding factors or the state of the body. So students, today we discussed completely and in detail we discussed the complete portion of your first long question, that is your mechanism of breathing. So that's all for today. We will meet in our next class. Thank you.